Catherine.
Nice to see you. Now, we're going to start off with that top story we've been following so closely in the news, the political upheaval in Ukraine, the economic side, of course.
Yeah, well, once this interim government is actually formed, their first priority is going to really have to be tackling the struggling economy, which is really on the verge of collapse. Now, Moscow has put on hold the $15 billion assistance package that it had offered Kiev. It could also revoke a 30% cut in gas prices, which would really put the Ukrainian population in a difficult position. Now, officials from the US and Europe are urging Kiev to look west for further economic aid. As we know, the EU's Catherine Ashton is heading there to discuss possibly reviving a trade deal that Viktor Yanukovych rejected last year. The International Monetary Fund also says that it's standing by. Here's Managing Director Christine Lagarde.
So if the Ukrainian authorities were to ask for IMF support, whether it's policy advice, whether it's financial support together with economic reform discussions, obviously we stand ready to do that.
Now, Lagarde was speaking at the G20 meeting this weekend, which took place in Sydney, Australia. Finance ministers there vowed to boost global economic growth by a full 2 percentage points over the next 5 years. They also agreed to increase cooperation to combat offshore tax evasion and endorsed a plan for countries to automatically exchange tax information, not just when it's requested. They issued an unusually short, just 2-page-long communiqué outlining their conclusions. And while it didn't include any details for how they plan to reach that growth target, it is an ambitious goal that they say will create millions of jobs around the world.
We're committed to implementing policies that aim to lift our collective GDP by more than 2% above the trajectory implied by current policies over the next 5 years. Put differently, our policies could deliver over $2 trillion more in real economic activity and tens of millions of new jobs.
Australia's Treasurer Joe Hockey speaking there. Kate, take us through the markets. How are we starting off the week?
It's pretty rocky trading in Asia, actually. Investors don't seem to have been very inspired by that G20 summit. The Shanghai Composite down nearly 2% there. This on data showing that new home prices in China stabilized for the first time in 14 months, growing just 9.6% in January. Property stocks like Poly Real Estate and China Merchants Property tumbling around 7% in Shanghai.
OK, now I know that probably any of our viewers that like a bit of a gadget or a new app will probably like this story. We're talking about smartphone and mobile phone gadgets at the World Mobile Congress, which opens today in Barcelona.
Yeah, and all eyes are going to be on the keynote speaker, which this year is Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg. It's a gathering that shows how crucial mobile technology has become to internet giants like Google and Facebook. Elena Casas explains.
The Mobile World Congress isn't usually tech's most glamorous event, but on Monday it welcomes a social media superstar. Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg is to deliver the keynote address, fresh from spending $19 billion on mobile texting app WhatsApp. The internet giant knows it must crack mobile if it is to break into emerging markets. 1.2 billion people in the developing world have mobile data connections, while just 350 million of them have broadband at home. The Congress will also show off plenty of new toys for gadget fans, with wearable tech this year's buzzword.
Among the big changes coming up in the mobile phone industry is the multiplicity of gadgets. We now use smartphones and tablets, but we're about to start using watches, and soon we'll use mobiles attached to our clothing, or etc. In future, mobile phones will come in very different shapes.
And that future is already here. Martian watches receive text messages and link to your smartphone via voice commands. If you worry you're too clumsy for all this cutting-edge kit, Kyocera has a solution for you, a phone that can survive for half an hour in water up to 1 meter deep. Other exhibitors will be showing web-connected versions of everything from toothbrushes to dog collars, meaning the Internet of Things is no longer science fiction. Experts say 26 billion objects will be connected to the Internet by 2020, not including personal computers, smartphones or tablets. That would represent a nearly 30-fold increase from roughly 900 million Internet-connected things in 2009.
Okay, thanks very much. For the business news there, Kate Moody, we're going to pass straight over to our daily press review. I'm joined by Oliver Ferry for that. Hello